Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about how the globalists are busy, and they're certainly pouring a lot of resources into this, are busy making sure that every quango, every industry association, every think tank, every guild, every union, anybody that has any influence or any organisation has any influence over anything at all, NGOs, and has social influence on the ground, and making sure that they get globalists put in there at the apex and turning every one of these things into a pro-globalist pushing propaganda implementation machine. And we tend not to notice it's done very well, I guess not so quietly, but the mainstream media just simply won't cover it. And you've kind of got to look pretty closely to see it going on. The same way that the NGOs are so active in aiding and abetting the mass migration thing, that's kind of well known, and they're doing it at all sorts of levels, and they're spending a lot of money, a lot of resources are put into that, absolutely huge amounts of resources. And so, but it's happening in other ways. And I'll give you an example. There's an industry association that I'm actually a member of. And I wouldn't say I was active. I turn up for meetings sort of every now and again, and just otherwise have a really cursory interest in what's going on. They bring out a magazine every now and again. Have a look at that. But the president of the association, there's quite a few people in this stepped down recently. And so they said they're advertising for somebody new. Now the job sort of, there's really never been anyone under the age of 50, I suppose, been in it. They've mostly been male, and everyone in it, or mostly everyone, has achieved something in their own right. They've been a commercial success or had commercial experience in some way. So you'd say the people, I may not necessarily have chosen the people that have been chosen before, but no one can deny that they were somewhat credentialed and would have been considered in the wider pool of candidates. So anyway, the guy steps down. They run adverts, and so I assumed they get somebody, but a 28, 29-year-old woman gets the job, and she comes from another country. Now, it is an English-speaking country, so but it looks like she pretty much stepped straight off the plane into the job. Now, given that the advert to replace the guy was run for several weeks, and quite a well-known executive recruiter come headhunter outfit was tasked with it, you expected quite a high quality bunch of candidates, and that whoever was appointed would be similarly high quality. But instead, there's and there would have been tens of thousands of people suited in Australia to take that role, and it pays passably well. Not a lot of money in Sydney terms, but 250,000 or something like that, which won't really get you ahead in Sydney anymore. So anyway, I think she's 28. This girl comes from an English-speaking country and slots straight into the job. As I understand it, the interviews would have been conducted online. So it was hard to believe that somebody like that would have got the job and again walked straight into it as they came off the plane. So, and particularly over the many tens of thousands of candidates that were already here. So I was a little bit surprised, and it smelt sort of, I could almost sense globalist fingerprints on this one. So I started digging into it and having a look, and managed to find a local newspaper. This girl had been, there was a government quango. She'd been appointed. She came from an NGO. She's radicalised in an NGO, so she's pro brown mass migration, she's very anti straight white males. Straight white males are evil, slavery and colonialism. She's also been active in street marches about climate change, pulling down statues, that sort of thing. And clearly she's still sort of got the emotional age of a 17-year-old or 18-year-old. So she was radicalised in NGO, then that has close ties in with government, because there's a bit of a round robin thing going on there. People going into government as advisors for politicians, going back into the NGO machine, then back into so then that way the activism is kept alive. That's how they keep the climate change politics alive, by this constant churn, round robin of people out of the activist NGOs into the government offices and so on, or political offices, and the media, of course. So she's radicalised in the NGOs. Then she gets put in a quango. Now, it was her job in the quango was to get rid of straight white males and appoint black, brown, and lesbians and that sort of thing. Now, she's an angry, sort of bitter person who would have approached a job like that with zeal and relish. How many straight white males, innocent straight white males, could she hurt? And she had the power to do so. The globalists gave her the power to do that. And a bit like the concentration camp guards in Dachau or Auschwitz or something like that. She clearly enjoyed her work and was covered in a local newspaper. I managed to find an article on it where she was praised for. And the writer of the article was clearly part of that NGO sort of globalist machine. She was praised for how many straight white males she got rid of, and how she changed the place into being a majority black lesbian and that sort of thing. So she was a very confirmed globalist. Now, she's being made president of an association that's probably one of the last ones, the last line of associations that still have a lot of straight white males in it. And so her job is obviously to, in my view at least, as I understand it, because you wouldn't hire her for anything else, not like she's qualified to do anything else. Her job is to just get rid of the straight white males and appoint as many black and brown lesbians as they possibly can. So that's the extent the globalists go to. And once I'd sort of done that, I then looked at other associations and other, the quangos and everything, and that every one of these people that you see is, all the merit is gone. All merit is gone, and straight white males are supposed to be got rid of. And if you're not a straight white male if you're not on board with the globalist project as a straight white male, then you might as well find a tall building. You're not wanted anymore. It's that simple. And you have to be a straight white male who's prepared to destroy the straight white male society. And they've got the politicians in their pocket, and the banks and all that sort of thing. But they're doing this all over now. A lot of time and care is being put into this. So people that have proved they're pro-globalist, I hate all white men, credentials in England or Canada or the US or New Zealand. Or there's a group of these people that they just move around all over the world, and they're gifted jobs. They're not applying for jobs. They're not having to go through rigorous interviews or anything like that. They are there to do the globalist bidding. They are there to destroy white society, and they're going about it with great zeal, and they're being appointed to it. So areas of where they're targeting individual areas of in business or in society or in social structure, whatever. They're targeting various areas, and then they're slotting people in to go and do the dirty work, to do the destroying work, and they're spending a lot of time. Obviously, there's like an international sort of organisation looking at that. Hey, we need somebody to go and destroy this part of white society. Who have we got? Oh, well, there's Jane over there, and this and that, and then Billy Bob. And okay, well, let's put them in there. And maybe they're strong arming the association. Maybe the bank says, well, we're not. Your overdraft's finished. You've got to appoint this person into the job, or no more overdrafts. So the association, oh, all right then, well, I suppose. But the reality is they're just wanting to implement the globalist project in another place. And I think this is happening everywhere. It is. It's certainly happening in places that I'm looking at. I think it's happening everywhere. It's how they do business. It's how they go about business, and just another way that they, another arrow to their quiver of how they go around destroying white society and crushing any potential opposition to the globalist project. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.